My children are very excited about being trapped in the basement.
I love it. That's the kind of energy we like.
The Reading Queens podcast band.
That's so cute. I'm just like, see ya.
Hi, we're the Reading Queens, and we're here to blab about our favorite books, why we love them, and the book boyfriends we wish were real. I'm so excited we're back, and we have a very nice group of ladies here, so please say hello.
I'm Kay. Hi.
Hi, I'm Hanna.
I'm Joanna.
And I'm Valia, and I know I went off script, so everybody's like, what?
You
What
didn't
are
tell
you
us we had
doing?
to say hi. This is terrible.
I know. Well, hi, we're here. We're talking books. So welcome to this episode of Chaos. Anyway, how's everybody doing?
I am learning another piece on the piano, guys.
Ooh.
What piece is it?
I don't know. It's Sonatina number 25 or so. I don't know. It says some boring name. It's by Clementi, so yeah.
I didn't know you played. I didn't know you played the piano.
Oh, yeah. Well, I like to pretend I play the piano. No, I do, but
She plays the piano.
I am the kind of pianist where like people think I can just look at music and play it, and I cannot do that. I have to learn things. It takes me a very long time, but once I learn it, then I can play it. So it's fun.
So you're still beating the rest of us at it, really. I played for a year when I was 7. I did not get very good.
I play when my mom tells me that she wants me to play.
There you go.
Nah.
That's nice.
I'm one of those people. No, because for church sometimes, we haven't done this in a while because we have plenty of awesome pianists at church now, but she'll always be like, can you just play for me? And I'm not a notes player. I will sit down and I will figure out
You do it by ear?
like the
Oh,
chords for a melody
that's
myself.
cool.
Yeah. And then I just have to like embellish that a little bit, and I'm not great. Like, it sounds like it's so great. I'm not that
That's
great at
awesome.
it. But when you're accompanying somebody for singing, you don't really need to like be all that, flurry and whatever. Like, you just has to make sure that it's like interesting enough to keep up with the singer.
Wow.
So I can do
That's
that.
amazing.
But I'm like,
I'm sure no one is surprised by the fact that I cannot play by ear at all, not even a little bit. If I don't have music, there is no playing happening. Unless I've memorized
I
it.
played as a kid. I started
Okay.
More
at
than a year.
age like 9, and I played until I was junior in high school. And I was pretty good then. I'm not good anymore.
It does require practice.
It does. It takes practice and sticking with it.
I can sing.
Yeah, I can sing too, but
oh,
I don't.
there you go.
I can sing. I just don't like to sing by myself.
We should
There we
start
go.
that.
The Reading Queens podcast band.
I played clarinet in high
There
school.
you go. Perfect.
Nobody wants a
Nice.
clarinet in their band, I have to tell you. I learned later.
What do you mean? Oh, in like a rock band. I was
Yeah.
like, bands always need the
Bands always have
clarinet.
clarinet.
Bands only- yeah.
They wouldn't even let me join jazz band with a clarinet. I was
Really?
like,
What?
are you kidding me?
Oh,
Anyway,
That's like the
This is the whole
stepping
thing,
stone
but-
to saxophone.
that's kind of interesting.
apparently, but I mean, I did not step to saxophone. I
She stayed on her clarinet
I
step,
just
okay?
joined jazz choir instead. It was okay. It was fine.
Well, I want to learn how to play the guitar because my hobby forever was writing, and now it's my job. And I feel like I need some other
Right.
creative outlet. So I've been thinking.
That's why
like,
I'm playing the piano again.
We don't. I don't.
Just for fun, yeah.
You don't have
It's
room
good.
for a
Good to have
piano.
something.
I
What?
don't have room for a piano. Otherwise, I would.
Oh,
play the
that's
piano too.
yeah, that's fair. I love the thing about hobbies and about instruments, whatever. I love that at any time you can just learn something new. I think we kind of get this idea that it's like, oh, if I didn't learn it when I was a kid, then that's it. I can never learn it. But truly, like, you can learn when you're in your 30s or 50s or 80s,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you want to start learning
Yeah.
something new, you can.
And you
I
don't
just
even
love
have to
that.
get good at it.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, you can just
exactly.
enjoy it. You do not have to master.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
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 I know, my hobby is sewing, and every now and then, like, because I sew almost all my own clothes, and people will be like, oh, but do you sell them? And I was like, never. Never. I will never sell anything I sew.
then
They
it
look
turns
at me
into a
like,
job.
why are you so adamant? Yes, I'm like, I already monetize my writing, my illustration, and I did photography for years. I'm like, I am not sewing for money. It is for fun. go sew your. I'm like, I'll
Yeah.
teach you how to sew if you want to come over.
That's funny though, because one of my friends, or actually a couple of my friends, keep saying that about my plants. They're like, "You're so good at propagating. You can like have an Etsy shop with plants, and you can like sell propagations." I'm like, no.
You don't have to monetize
I was like, this is
everything.
also a hobby. Yeah. I mean, like, I'll give you some plants that I grew as a gift. Like, here, have some, but I'm not gonna like make a whole thing of it because then I'll feel like it's a job, and then I'm not gonna enjoy it as much. Which is so funny because I do enjoy love writing. Let me say that again. I do enjoy and love writing, even though it is a job now. But that's like the greatest part about working as a writer, because like you get to work at a job you love, you know. But not
well,
everything.
yeah,
I
there's
mean,
pressure on it.
Yeah,
It's for money.
you need a
Yeah.
hobby that you love that can be your job, and you need a hobby that is only for fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Where you don't have to
Yes,
be good
exactly.
enough to sell it or whatever. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Like you can mess up and do whatever and kill some
Yeah.
plants and cry about it and not care because you're like losing
That would be
money.
sad.
Because I always see like people, I know, but I always like see, I'm in a couple of groups on Facebook
As am
about
I.
like plants and stuff, and I like will see somebody be like, I got this plant, I'm gonna propagate it, and then like the next post is like, I
Aw,
killed it, and they're like
sad.
sobbing because they like, and I'm like, I get it, like it's sad, but now you're like putting money to it, right? So now you're like extra sad because you just spent money and then you had somebody pay for it and then it didn't turn out well. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole thing now instead of just being like, oh, it's sad my plant died. Which happens all the time.
This
'cause they're
is so funny.
plants.
I knew that propagating succulents was a thing because I have a friend who's like basically an expert in that, by the way. She's very cool.
Very cool.
But I didn't know that was a thing to propagate other plants.
You can propagate lots of plants.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. I just
there's
never thought
Etsy
about it.
stores. Yep. They're like Etsy stores upon Etsy stores for plants that are literally just propagations. Like just little tiny 2-leaf nods with like a little tiny
And there's
baby
lots
root.
of plants.
Sometimes they don't even
Lots of
have
plants
ones.
like just pop out little babies too. Like I have like spider plants too, right? Like they get little danglies that are just babies. And then my pilia, like they call them pups, which I think is hilarious. And there's like little baby plants that grow around it, and you just like pop them out
They
and
just come out.
give them to your friends.
Yeah, they come with their own root system
So
and
some are hard
everything.
and some are
So
just like
yeah,
that.
there's plants that are like that. It's kind of like aloe vera. Have you seen an aloe vera plant? It usually has a mama
Yeah,
plant.
aloe vera is a succulent.
Right, but it's the same type. It has like the aloe vera plant, and then it has all these pups that grow out around it that have their own
Yeah,
root
yeah.
system. So there's plants that are like that are not succulents. So those are like the easiest ones to propagate. But I just love
So
taking
we can
cuttings
get into
and
how to
like
propagate all the
creating
kinds of
a whole
plants if you want.
plant.
Back to plants with
I know.
Valia and Hanna.
I'm like really good at this. I know. No, I'm like really good at this. And it was really funny. My friend gave me this plant. So she got this silver sword philodendron, which is like pretty rare, but it's getting more popular now. But it's still like, you know, like $50-$60 for just like a regular, I don't know, 4-inch plant, which is like, I'm not going to spend that much, especially if it's like traveling to me in Arizona. But anyway, so she ended up getting 2 because the first one came in the bad condition. And so then the second one broke. And so she's like, I don't know what to do with this plant. It's so beautiful. It's so expensive. And so she gave me one of the little leaves. And it had like barely a knot on it. So I put it in a propagation box and I left it in there and I took care of it. And now, you guys, it's like 4 inches tall. It has all new
Ooh.
leaves. I'm like so proud of it. It's like my pride and joy right now. Don't tell my other plants.
I love you all the same.
But it's like so great. Anyway, sorry, digressing into plants. I'll stop.
Well, I have news. My news is,
Okay.
I even looked this up. Back in episode 17, if you listen to it, we had a whole long conversation about hot Cheetos. And I said,
Of course.
yes, well,
I was
yes.
there.
Valia, if you did not listen to it, although you could go back, is addicted to hot Cheetos. And I was all like, I've never seen a hot Cheeto in Canada. Even though I hear about them all over the internet, do they even exist? And then I did find some. And last night, my husband and I tried hot Cheetos for the first time.
And
I have to preface this by saying that I don't actually like Cheetos. I kind of like don't mind the crunchy ones, but I don't like the puffs. Do the hot
Okay.
Cheetos come in the crunchy kind? Yeah, well, I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I only found the puffs. And this is not a...
I didn't know they came in the puff kind. I
Well,
thought
there
they only
you
came
go.
in the crunchy
They
kind.
did, yeah.
I also am not a snob. I just like chips a lot. So it's not like I'm like, I don't eat anything but fruit smoothies. As I drink my fruit smoothies.
Yeah.
So did you like it or not?
I know. Okay.
I know.
Okay.
Answer the question.
First impressions were, I was surprised by how hot they were, because most things that say they're hot are not hot.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like most mainstream snacks, they're like, this is so spicy, and you eat it and you're like, really though?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think my lips are tingling a tiny bit. And I do like medium spice on average. Like, I put sriracha on my eggs every morning, and
Yeah.
so I'm not like a spice pansy, but I don't like my lips burnt off, you know? So
Yeah.
I was impressed by the spice level, but I didn't, like, I was not super into the flavor.
Okay.
I didn't hate it. We finished most of the bag. Okay, there was 4 left, because then it was, like, really hot.
They still ate the whole thing. They just didn't like it.
Well, we didn't hate it. We were just like, this is hot Cheetos. We were glad we had tried it. And then I looked at the package, and I could not figure out what of the ingredient list made them hot.
Yeah.
That was kind of disturbing. It's like,
It's magic.
there's garlic. I'm like, is it the deletrixic enzyme supposed to be like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is the hot thing in this?
I know. As you guys know, I'm like obsessed with them. So I'm excited that you tried them, that you like found them in Canada.
I'm glad too.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel
I
a
have
part
never
of
tried them
something now
before.
that I was not a part of before.
Okay.
There you go. You
I
guys
don't
are
like.
terrible
I don't like.
Yeah, I was
spicy
like, hey,
stuff.
you
I
don't
am
like.
the
Yeah, I'm like, you
worst.
don't like spicy stuff. My mom doesn't like
Like-
spicy stuff. She like very mild spice, but she always eats them.
I don't understand where I came from, because everyone in my family is obsessed with spicy stuff. They'll like anytime they go on a vacation, it's like we have to go find the hottest hot sauce.
That is
we can
not
find.
how I
That's like
am.
the adventure of a vacation, and I do not like spicy food at all, which I think is so funny.
That's
I don't
I
know.
like a
hilarious.
little bit of spice in a lot of things. Like, I love Thai curry that's a bit spicy, and I love, my sriracha, but I don't like... Okay, one time, I don't think... If you have this brand in the States, like the Pocky chips, like they're P-A-Q...
Fridge.
Okay, cool.
So
Some
they're like
letters.
they're tortilla chips. They're tortilla chips.
Oh, okay.
And they come in great flavors. And I love the ones like they've got a little like meter of like how hot they are. And I like the one chili ones.
Oh.
They're very good. There's like a salsa verde. It's so good. But they make ghost pepper ones.
Mm.
And you're like, how hot is this gonna be? So I bought them by accident because I reached for the ones I like and accidentally brought home the other ones. And I ate one chip. And I almost died. I'm telling you, it was like 2 hours before I was okay again. I was like, one chip. What? Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. It was awful. So, and my husband had one, and he was like, wow, what did you do? Are you trying to kill us? But then we still had them around, and then like every day he would be like, is it that bad? And he would eat another one. I finally had to throw it out. I was like, stop doing this to yourself. He's like,
so
I like
funny.
chips. These can't be as bad as I remember from yesterday.
Oh my gosh, that's such a guy thing.
So,
I'm
Joanna,
these in the garbage now.
Joanna, you said you don't like spicy
No,
stuff
I
either.
do. I just
Oh,
Don't like hot Cheetos.
She hasn't
no,
tried
I don't,
hot
I don't
Cheetos.
like
To
Cheetos.
find
I
someone
don't
like me.
Cheetos. So I
Yeah,
don't
see,
think I've ever
I-
tried hot Cheetos.
I'm not a really big fan of Cheetos by themselves, but like if I don't have hot Cheetos and I have regular Cheetos, I will take like a bag of those, like a little bag, and I will put Valentina hot sauce all over them, just shake them up and then eat it like that, and that tastes amazing.
That would probably be better because then it would, like, the hot sauce flavor would be a flavor.
Yeah, because
instead of
that's
just...
yeah. But I like the flavor of the hot Cheetos. I've discovered hot Cheeto popcorn recently, and it's like way less calories for you because it's popcorn instead of the whatever the chips are made out of. And
they're made of corn also, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
But like there's so much more in one of those versus one little popcorn thing. And so I
Yeah.
was like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to eat healthier and just like not be as, have like weighed down with like chips or whatever, which they're my weakness, so it's really hard. But I discovered the popcorn and it like tastes so good, and it's like it doesn't,
I feel like I would prefer that.
I don't know,
too.
maybe you should try it. And it's not as
Well, I've
Well,
not
I
seen hot
like
Cheeto popcorn.
regular Cheetos, guys. I'm a regular
Do you
Cheeto
like
person.
the puffy
so-
ones or the crunchy ones?
I like both.
Do you?
I like
When my
them
children
both,
want to
yeah.
buy the puffy ones for like a birthday party or something, I'm like, you enjoy all of those.
Oh, I
I'm
like
buying
the
some
puffy
kettle
ones.
chips.
I mean, I actually don't eat them that much, just because I don't
Well, they're
know. Maybe
messy
I don't
too.
love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are messy.
I don't hate them.
Like,
I just
but-
don't go out of my
It's
way
not
to
your
buy 'em.
preference. Yeah, exactly. Which makes sense. I don't
And
know. I just love chips.
Popcorn is one of my comfort foods. I eat popcorn every night. That's my snack
I love
every
popcorn too. What do you put on your popcorn?
night. Well, I have a jet, like an air pop, jet popper.
Yeah.
So I just put butter and salt, and that's it. And I love
Oh,
it.
okay.
So I do butter, salt, and I do nutritional yeast. Have you ever
No,
tried it? It is so good. It is so good.
I have to try it.
You can, I don't know, you can buy it at health food stores. Not normal yeast. Don't like throw your bread yeast in your popcorn. But it's like the flaky golden, like nutritional yeast.
Okay,
Oh.
I'll have to try it.
It is a thing. I have been doing it for like 20 years now.
And she's still here, so
And I'm
you can
still
trust that.
here. That's like my basic popcorn.
That's funny. We put the white cheddar cheese powder that you get
I
at
like that too. That's yummy.
like the
Did that
movie
before.
theaters here.
Yeah.
My dad found it online and he's like, we're getting all this. So we got like a whole box.
I love it.
Isn't nutritional yeast like a vegan Parmesan cheese
Yeah,
substitute
yeah,
or
they do
something?
use it for that a lot because it's got like a really strong
has,
like
like, the same
umami
kind of-
flavor.
Oh yeah, so that makes sense
thing.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of the
Yeah.
same thing. I've never tried it, but that's why, I hear in my travels.
In your travels, you guys
travels.
should try it and report back.
Okay.
In my internet travels. You don't leave the house for these travels.
I've traveled the world and asked them about their popcorn.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Well, we've talked about food this whole time. Not the whole time. I guess we were talking about piano.
And
at first.
And
Plants.
plans.
We've been
We
very
don't
well
need
rounded.
plants.
Come on.
But not books.
I know, we're
We have
so
not
lower
talked
than
about books
place.
yet.
Joanna's like, stay on track, guys. Just stay on
Okay,
We're
so
like, good luck.
yeah, people should know by now that our episodes are just chaos, like always. It's just there's no. I try to.
in the best
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
In the best possible
Every
way.
time I'm on here, I look at the description and it's like, we have a lot of chaotic energy in this episode. And I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me myself.
Hannah brings it, okay? Is that Canada person in her? I don't know. It's like should be the opposite.
Canadians are so rowdy.
It's because she just loves life
Yes.
so
I
much.
I just love you guys
Everything
so
is
much.
beautiful.
Aw.
Hannah.
Oh my
Excited
gosh.
to talk
Okay.
to you.
But we should
We
talk
should
about
talk
books.
about
now.
books.
For real. For
Okay,
real.
so
Let's be serious.
yes, for a second, if we can manage. No. So we were talking about the question of the day because this is the episode before the trope episode that we kind of just do a random book talk in, right? And just discuss stuff that we love. And so I was making like a whole big thing because this podcast comes out September 1st, and I'm like, oh, it's like the first day of school, and like in Russia, that's like when we go back to school. And the ladies were like, no. That's
I'm sorry.
not when we go back to
We
school.
still summer brain here.
I'm like, whatever. Anyway, no, but we
Maybe
did.
next week.
Maybe next week. No, but we did want to talk about something. Like I had a question if you guys have any first day of school traditions that you wanted to talk about because you all have kids and I don't. But also Kay brought up that is there a book that you read for school that you liked? My house just exploded in noise. Okay, I'm sorry.
You said exploded, and I was like,
Exploded
like it
in noise.
exploded. It looks like you're okay.
I'm fine. It's all right. Anyway, okay, so yeah, Kay, let's just start with you. Talk about school and books.
Okay. First day of school traditions. I'm the most boring mom, you guys. I don't do anything fun
I am too.
ever. It's
Glad
It's
that
like
you are
we go to
too,
the park.
because I
I
saw
know.
these things on social media. I'm like, that's so cute. I'm just
like,
like,
I'm not doing
see
that.
ya.
yeah, for real. We don't do. I mean, just like they probably look nicer on the first day of school than they do by the end of the year. But I'm like, making sure your clothes are nice and neat, comb your hair. By the end, I'm like, I don't care, just go. No, I'm just kidding. But
Are you?
yeah,
It's like, no.
I mean, that's how it is. That's how it is for all of us, right? I mean, the one cool thing I do is I make my kids Halloween costumes every year, and that is pretty cool. But that's like the only cool mom thing I do. So I'm like, hey, at least I got one thing.
I
know?
take a picture
I
of
don't
my
know.
children, but I don't like have
I
like
don't-
a letterboard or pretty
Oh,
signs
yeah,
or anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, here you are. Let's take a picture. And at the end of the year, I take a picture of them with their teacher.
Oh, that's
Aw,
cute.
that's
Yeah,
cute.
I don't. That's cute.
Kate's like,
I
no.
don't think I do either of those.
To be fair, I'm a
Maybe I'm
photographer.
taking a picture.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know.
Okay, but here's a question, right? So I didn't go to elementary school or like anything before 8th grade, 7th grade in America. Do you guys have like special stuff during that time? Like, is there anything special that the kids get to do on the first day of school? Like
It's
when
a
they're younger?
short day for my kids.
Oh.
I don't know. Our school, like the last couple of years, they've just had this chaos where they just throw all the primary kids in like the gym and all the intermediate kids somewhere else, and they sort them out for a week, and it's been terrible.
Oh.
Because the kids have so much anxiety because they don't know who their teachers are, and it's like this big thing. So they couldn't do it last year because of COVID.
Yeah.
Hopefully this year they will also not do that. They're like,
Yeah,
just put
that
them into
seems like
class,
a
because they were like, well,
terrible
so you always have to move a kid or
system.
two, and it's very disruptive. So we're like, so you decided to disrupt the entire school,
Right,
instead of moving
exactly.
two
For a
children?
week?
Like,
I mean, that's,
Oh my gosh.
sorry.
Yeah.
that's so funny because, okay, so I actually graduated in elementary education in college. And like the first day of school, you're supposed to just do I can't say this, your routines. That's what you're supposed to do the first day of school, where you're like, this is how we get in line, this is how we get
Like
go
set
to the
Oh,
bus,
okay.
this is how, yeah. So that's, I mean, sometimes there'll be, I don't know, I feel like it depends on the school what they do for the first day of school. There's not any kind of
Probably
set
not as
thing.
extra as what I remember doing. So when I was in school, I thought about this when I saw, like, when I said we're gonna do like traditions and stuff like that, because I literally have pictures. So first of all, in Russia, like, I remember the first thing about like going into like first or second grade, I always had like a huge bow, right? Like it's like the size of my head. Like my mom like made
I
it
think we need
pretty
pictures of
and
it.
had
Bow?
things. Not for you to look
We
at.
want to see the bow.
Oh, we're gonna talk later.
But anyway, so then they have this whole thing where you're like in front of the school and you bring flowers for your teacher, and then they have like,
Aw.
you know, like they teach the mom or the dad, whatever, like leads you in. And so I have pictures with my mom as I have like the flowers for my teacher and this huge bow, and so we're like in front of the school, and I remember me like holding hands with like one of the boys there, and like we were like walking in together because, you know, we walk in pairs and we're like holding hands and stuff like that. So like I made like this, I remember this whole like parade thing of like the
That's so
first day
cool.
of school.
Love it.
And I'm like,
Definitely do not do that. That's
That is
adorable.
yeah.
so fun. Yeah,
I really
that's way
need a picture
cute.
of Big Bo Valia.
Nah, it's okay. Anyway, Joanna.
Like moving past that.
We're just gonna
Such a subtle transition.
Yeah, I'm good at those. Hey. Just moving on.
So my boys went to the same elementary school that I went to as a kid.
Aw.
They're going
Aw.
to a new one this next year because we moved. But when I was in elementary, we always had this like opening ceremony out on the front lawn. where,
Okay.
Like there was like a, I don't even know what the song, like I'm proud to be an American or something, that it would like
Oh, cute.
play and everyone would sing it, and then we'd sing our school song, and
Good as
on the
school
first
song.
day, yeah, and they do it on
How
the
do
last
people know
day
the
of
school
school
song?
too. And I think my boys did it at least once, but with COVID, like they
Been
just
disrupted.
they just like went into their class. So
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
if they do it anymore.
That's
But
really
I like
cute,
that's one of my memories of elementary was
though.
I always
Yeah.
loved the first day
That's
and the
cool.
last day
You
'cause
have
we
an
had this like
actual tradition.
cool ceremony thing. So.
Yeah. There is a tradition that, or something that the school next to my house does. So there's like an art school that's, I think it's up to 8th grade, if I remember correctly. Or maybe it's just 7th and 8th grade, or maybe it's like 1st through 5th grade. I really can't tell because I don't have children that go there. But anyway, some grades, but it's not high school.
There are children go
It's
there.
not high school, okay? I know that much. But it's like an art school or something, and so it's like art specific school. So they're still doing the regular stuff, but it's like more artistic, and so I think they do things a little bit differently. And I don't remember, like the other day I was outside, and it's our backyard literally opens into the field that's the school's field, and then the school is like on the end of it, and so we get to hear like the kids play or whatever when they're outside. But they were like having some alarm or something go off, and then there was like a talk, and then there was like a pledge, and there was like all this stuff, and I'm like sitting outside, I'm like, what is happening? But then I'm thinking, I'm like, they're probably like outside right now, and they're probably having like a whole thing that they're doing. Like I got excited that they have like a tradition. I'm like eavesdropping on them from like my backyard. I'm like, what's happening now? It's not as creepy as it sounds, okay? I just like to point out.
It's even more creepy. No, I'm just kidding. It's not creepy at all if you live there.
So it made me think of like the first day of school and like all this stuff, you know, like how the traditions worked and whatever. Anyway, so part 2 to this question is, what is the book that you had to read for school that you liked? Because, you know, we all know that we read a bunch of stuff that we didn't like. At least that's what people say. Kay.
Okay, I have 2 books. Both of them are like classics, right? That's kind of what you read in school most of the time. So the first one is The Scarlet Letter. And let me just say that, like, if I had just had to read that, I would not have liked it, right? I think a lot of us probably feel that way. But just at the time, I had this English teacher who was so passionate, and she was just so good at, like, being excited about the books, and she just really helped us feel the heart of that story, you know, and just the like guilt and the shame, and it made it feel so much more relatable. And it made it feel like, you know, this person is in this awful circumstance, and I don't know how to explain it. She was just very good at teaching us. Mrs. Johnson.
Shout out.
Yeah. Anyway. So I loved that. A lot of the books that we read while I was in that class, I just loved them, but that was the one that really stood out to me. I feel like I had a really good understanding of what the point of that book was, and it wasn't just I don't know, it wasn't just something I had to read for school. It was something that I really appreciated the message inside of it, you know, so I thought that was cool. The second one was Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoyevsky, who is Russian. So
oh, look at you saying that. That was good.
Oh, that's good. Hey. Anyway, so good. If you don't know, it's basically this guy murders someone right away, and the whole book is about the psychology of that character, of the one who murders somebody, and it just sounds like really bad when I say it like that, but it was just fascinating. It was very cool, and it was just really cool to see how he justified it, and how he, you know, like how things worked out at the end. It was just very cool. I don't know how to explain it without giving stuff away, but he does kill someone right away, so that's not really giving anything away. But I am not the kind of person that likes villain stories. Right. And I don't know, there's just something about that one that was really good. It was cool.
It's a really big book too.
It is very long, and I like for sure had to skim because I was procrastinating. But I loved it.
Oh, I love that. That's really cool. Just wait until I get to my books. Anyway, Hannah.
I just have to say that we did not read a lot of like hefty classics in school. And I don't know if that was like, I don't know what that says about my school system I grew up in. I did read a Shakespeare every year in high school, and I loved that because I don't think I would have like just sat down and read Shakespeare anyway. I'm not a big classics person. I'm like Jane Austen and children's classics are all I read, I tell people. But I did enjoy doing Shakespeare. Which one was my favorite? I don't know. Romeo and Juliet was fun. And it was fun to go through them. Like, 'cause I feel like Shakespeare is something that you grow up like with a general knowledge of. A lot of the plays just kind of like you sort of know what happened, and it shows up in pop culture a lot, and it's fun to actually get into it. I do have to say that like my only crimes as a teenager were that I did steal books that were required reading from school. Because I was like, they've
brought them home.
Yeah, like I still have them in my basement.
That was so funny.
I was like, they've got like 50
Hanna
of them.
is a criminal.
Like, they're not gonna miss one. So I've got the third Magic and the Gamage Cup, both in the basement, which I think I still have.
Oh my goodness.
So I liked those two, apparently.
I've never heard of those.
Apparently.
The third Magic No one has ever heard of this except for I have one friend on Bookstagram, and we're always like, yeah, that book, because nobody else knows about it.
One person, yeah.
And
My
the
gosh, that's
Tub.
funny.
I remember reading The Outsiders. It was pretty
Oh,
good.
yeah, The Outsiders.
I was pretty happy to read almost everything because I just loved reading. But I do remember in grade 7,
Right.
they had like a list of like 8 different books, and they're like, you must read 3 over the course of the year. So I read them all.
Okay.
Because I was done 3 books and everyone else was halfway through their first book, and I was like, well.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all animal stories, and many of the animals died. It was like Old Yeller and Big
Aw.
Red.
Oh, I hate those.
And like, they weren't all. Oh, but Rask. We read
Where
Rascal.
the red ferns grow. That's the one I had to read.
I'm like,
Oh,
there's
yeah,
a
we had to
dog
read
in a
that.
book for children, the dog will die. Like, it is just a known
Yeah.
fact.
So
My
true.
kids read one. Oh, see, yeah, my oldest was reading one for school this year. I can't remember which one it was. It's the one about, like, sled dogs. Anyway, and she's like, then the dog died. A White Fang. And I'm like, the dog always dies, honey.
Yeah.
The dog always dies.
Just be
like,
prepared
if
for the
you're
rest of your
reading a book,
life.
especially if it's for school and there's a dog, the dog will die.
But,
It's to
you
teach
know,
you
I
about
feel
loss.
like-
I'm sorry.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
a relatable thing because dogs have shorter lives than people. So a lot of children have had to deal with the death of a dog.
true.
And so, I mean,
At least they're kind of prepared.
I guess.
I'd rather
I
read about
don't know.
princesses, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Or living
It was
dogs.
fun. Oh yeah, or
Living
living
dogs.
dogs. No, it was funny that you were saying about Shakespeare because I remember the only thing we read in school, like in high school, for Shakespeare was Macbeth.
We did Macbeth
Like
in grade
First
they
11.
made like a huge big thing. Yeah, it was like a whole
never read
big
that
thing
one.
that
It
we
was fun.
did.
It's messed up.
Yeah, it was
It's
really
fun.
fun. It is. Yeah, I love it. But I remember in college, in my I think it was my sophomore year, if I remember now, in college. So I have my first bachelor's is in English, so I did a lot of like English classes, right? And one of them was like you have to perform a part of a play from, like one of the classics, whatever. So of course I'm like, Shakespeare is perfect because it's like written
It's a play, yeah.
to be performed, And so we did Taming of the Shrew, and it was so freaking fun. Like
That's cool.
because it was like one of those parts where it's like a full out argument and they're like yelling at each other. So like me and my friend got to just yell at each other in front of the
That's awesome.
class.
Enemies to
It was
lovers.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't read that one. I just watched 10 Things I Hate About You.
It's a good
That's
one.
what
It's a
everyone
fun
has.
one.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh,
We
yeah.
did The Tempest, Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, and Hamlet. Were the ones we did.
I'm sure we did
I feel
other
like I
ones.
only
All I
did
remember is Macbeth.
Julius Caesar. Oh, and I think we did Romeo and Juliet too. I feel like other ones I've read because my mom went through this stage where she was like really into, you gotta know Shakespeare. So she got me these like children's versions of Shakespeare. But
So like they're only 3 pages long instead
no,
of
they were like
70.
they were actually like graphic novel / comic
Oh,
style.
okay.
So it was kind of
Yeah.
cool. So I know the basic story of a lot of Shakespeare plays, but I don't think I've ever read any except Julius Caesar and maybe Romeo and Juliet. I can't remember.
Yeah. That's really interesting. It's hard for me to read. Like when I was in school, it was, I was in the process. I was still like learning English,
And then
and
it's in Old
those
English.
things are so hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was having a really difficult time understanding that. And I think Macbeth was just easy because it had like the supernatural power, like, and all that like
The
stuff that I already
witches.
like. Yeah. So I think I just was like, I understood it better because even though it was still a Shakespeare play, it was told more in a story sense that I understood
Interesting.
versus it just being like, I don't know. I also remember the Canterbury Tales, like that
Oh.
forever long
Those are
poem
really
that
old
we
English
had-
too.
Yeah, we had to read those,
Oh,
and I had to
wow.
read those in college again, and I was like, I still don't understand anything that's happening
So
here.
sorry. I've never read them.
See, I had like the slight advantage of being a slightly traditional Christian kid and reading King James Bible.
The Bible.
So you're
yeah.
like
The
that wasn't
Bible.
what we
Yeah.
read
Reading
regularly,
helps.
but I had read it heard it enough that it didn't throw me to.
It's not as
Yeah.
confusing, yeah. I've heard that actually that people who read the Bible
in
often
yeah.
understand Shakespeare. Or I guess I
The
should
King
say the
James
King
version.
James
Yeah.
version. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
gotta be the King
which
James
is what
version.
I read. That's the
Well,
That's the one
maybe
I
now
read. So
you'd
can
be
you
better
imagine me
at it.
learning? I know. Can you imagine me learning English and reading King James?
I hope you had a basic
I was so
understanding
confused.
first. Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. If it's a different language, even. Yeah, you get a free pass, Valia. It's allowed to be hard
Okay,
for
thank you. Anyway, Joanna, do you have a book?
So I think I've talked about this before, but I was in honors English from 7th grade on, and that's all we did was. That's why I don't know grammar, because all we did was read books. They didn't teach us grammar, and so I read a lot. So I had a hard time like thinking of what we read. But in college, I also have an English degree, and I took a Shakespeare class where we had to read a lot of Shakespeare. And I took a Dickens class, and I love Charles Dickens. I love David Copperfield.
I hate Charles
and
Dickens.
Great Expectations.
I know, but Joanna loves him.
In fact, I read
cool
A
you
Tale
like
of
him,
Two
though.
Cities on my own because I love Dickens
Just for
so
funsies?
much. Yeah, just for funsies.
I love that. That's so fun.
In high school, I remember doing Hamlet, reading Hamlet, and we had to kind of like Valia, where you said you had to like perform. We had to perform one act from Hamlet, like they divided us into groups, but we had to perform it in like another genre, like parody almost.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
I remember we did like gangster style.
Oh, nice.
I
That's cool.
should put that in one of my books. Like I put that assignment in one of my books that like the characters
Nice.
so
had
cool.
to do that because just writing what I knew. So
Right. That's really cool, actually. I think that's a really fun assignment. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to do that. And I'm not I don't like
Oh,
being,
me neither.
I don't
Me
like
neither.
performing in front of people or anything like that. But stuff like that is just like so fascinating to me. The two books that came to mind when like I thought of this question are not going to be surprising to anybody because of what I like. But the first book was 1984.
Oh,
And
yes.
so I
hate that
remember
book.
being, I think I
I
was
haven't
like,
read it, and
yeah,
I
a lot of
still
people hate
Joanna
that book.
and I have opposite tastes.
I read it for the first
Apparently.
time like this year, and I didn't like it.
Oh, see, I think that's different. So the thing is with that was probably my very first like really dystopian that was like a full-on dystopian without it being like sneaky. It was like, no, it's full-on like this is a world that's being controlled, blah blah blah, all this stuff. And I remember in school we had to read like 50 pages and then that week, and then we had to like come in at the end of the week and we were going to discuss it. Yeah, I read that whole book
nice.
in one sitting. I was like, I can't stop. Like, I need to know what happens.
It's so good. It just makes you think so much about like
it really does. And also it was really funny because I was in that stage where I was like new to America too. And so it was like, you're coming from a different country and you have already like specific ideas in your head about this country portrayed by other people. So like, Russia obviously has a specific way that they're going to present America.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And so me coming in and then being like, just even 2 years later, I'm like reading this 1984 book and I was just like, oh my gosh, like all of this stuff. It's just like so fascinating. So I was like amazed by this book and it was so disturbing. And it was pretty much like my first like foray into like dystopian fiction really. After that, I read the Ugly series by Scott Westerfeld. And that was like, that's it. And after that, like, I love dystopian. But anyway, so that was like one of the things I remember is everybody was like, I had to read this book. Like, we have to read 50 pages. And I'm like, yeah, I'm already done.
That's what it was with all assigned
it's
reading. Like, if I
fine.
liked it or not, I was like done the book because
Yeah.
I was like, well, we have to read it sooner or later. We had to read Animal Farm. So we did read Orwell. We just
I've
didn't
never read that
1984.
we didn't
one.
read that.
I mean, it's communism with farm animals. That pretty much sums it up. It goes badly because
Yeah.
it's a cautionary
Basically.
tale against it. So there you go.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I remember it was like we watched a movie for it too, like the 1984 movie, and it was like that black and white one
I didn't
that's
know
like
there was
really
a movie.
disturbing. Oh, it's like
Well, that's
disturbing.
really
Okay.
disturbing.
I
Like
can make you watch it. That's funny.
yeah, I was like, how did we? I think we had to sign like a permission slip to be able to watch it in school
Valia's like,
because
this
it was
my
like,
first instance of PTSD after watching that.
yeah. I was like, all right, Mom, we're going back to Russia. This place is crazy. Anyway,
We had to watch a movie of Animal Farm, and it was animated, and I had forgotten that until just now, because I think I blocked it out. Because that was weird stuff.
She's like,
That is so funny.
okay, so the second book I'm going to mention is a book that I'm pretty sure everybody I know actually hates with a passion.
Nice.
I like the suspense here.
Can you guys guess what book it is?
Is it? No, I don't know. What
does everyone hate? I'm trying to think.
A book that everyone hates.
From school reading. I just want to know
I
if
don't
you guys can
know.
think of one. No? Okay. Catcher in the
I
Rye.
didn't have to read that either.
I didn't
read
either.
anything.
I
I
never
read
read
that
it.
one
Okay.
for funsies.
Yes. So I loved that book. I read that book in like one sitting. I flew through that thing so fast. And I remember us having to like do discussion. So I had to like go back and like look at the chapters that we were like discussing to fill out like the questions or whatever. So I feel like I spent a very long time in that book. And then I remember that whole thing where like all the snipers or serial killers, that's the book that they read. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to turn into a crazy person.
All right,
So
watch
I
out
spent
for
so
Valia
much
and
time-
Joanna.
I liked it.
But
I
it-
remember liking it.
What's the plot? What's the plot of it? I don't even know
I don't
anything
know
about it.
either.
Oh, it's
There's a
it's
catcher
literally
and
about
there's
I
a
was like
Rye,
literary
so-
classic.
no, it has nothing to do with that actually. No, it's just basically like this one guy's like this kid's journey, I think, of like just discovering himself as a
So
person.
a coming
that's
of
like,
age.
Sort of,
coming
but-
of age book.
Yeah,
It
it is
happens
very
in a
coming
short
of
period
age.
time. It's like one,
Yes.
one night or
that's-
something.
yeah,
Some people come of age in a short period of time, right?
Yeah, it's like I feel like it is just like
Is it just
one
one night?
night or one day. It's like it's very quick. Like the whole book is just like in one thing.
Interesting.
But I don't know. I just remember when I remember reading it, and I remember having those, you know, those things that we talk about when we talk about books, where you just read something and it just like resonates with you in a way that like the author didn't even expect it to resonate with you. Like you're taking things out of it that I don't think like the author was like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write this theme and this is going to be, and when they read the sentence, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I get it. Like, no, I was like taking things from the book, like that were like had nothing to do with the story or whatever. I just felt like, I don't know, like the book understood me in a way, which sounds really weird when I preface that.
No,
with
it's not
like,
weird. I think all of us feel that way
serial
about
killers.
books. Oh yeah, with the
I know.
serial killer.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I prefaced that so badly. And then I'm like, it understood me. No, but yeah, like I love that about books. And I love that in school, even though like we had to read books, I know a lot of people like had issues reading certain books, but we still can like take away those things from it. Like that, you know, just that like speak to us personally in a way that it's not going to speak to somebody else, which is why like those are the two books that stick in my head, where one, everybody else is like, I hate that book, you're weird for liking it. I'm like, I don't care.
Well, I said I liked the Scarlet Letter. I don't know anyone else who liked that book, so I'm just saying.
It's true.
Yeah,
I mean, I
the
liked it, but
oh yes, another person liked my book.
anyway. We just like arrived at this pause of like, okay.
I was just laughing because Kay was like waving her microphone around while she was talking because she was so excited because she's hiding in her car.
I am in my car right now. It's a long story, but basically this is the quietest place for me to be
This is mom
today.
life sometimes.
So
We understand.
yeah.
It's just like you in your
Just
car,
hide from your
ranting and
children.
waving your microphone around.
I'm happy to hold it on my knee, my microphone, to keep it like, you know, in the right spot. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
You're doing great. It's great. But yeah, I want to know, listeners, if you have a book that you read in school that
Or
you
that
really
you really
liked,
hated.
we want to hear about it. Or hate it, yeah.
Ooh,
Either way. Give us
yes.
emotion.
Hey, we should actually think of that. What's a book you had to read that you hated? I don't know if I have
Big
an
Red
answer
and
for
Old
that.
Yeller. Hell
Yeah. There you go.
Hannah started with those.
Oh, I know what
She's
it
like-
is for me.
Okay,
Get ready, guys.
I'm ready.
It's Wuthering Heights. I hated that book so
It's-
much.
I did have
Joanna,
to read that.
Joanna,
That's
isn't
like
that your
my
favorite book?
Joanna's offended.
classic.
What's your favorite book?
Fight, fight.
This is so funny. Joanna and I really do have like opposite tastes. This is such a good example of how everybody likes
That's
different
true.
things, and it's okay to like different things, you know? It's like if there's a book that you just loved and other people didn't like, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the book. It just means you have different taste,
That's
right?
that's one that I
Unless
reread.
you like Wuthering
That's one
Heights.
that I reread. I used to reread it like once a year. I love that book.
Like one of your comfort books.
One of them.
It's
been a while
depressing
since
for
I've read
me.
it, but I love that
It's
book.
too
I
depressing.
hate it. Every time I would read it for school, and I would read like 10 minutes, and I'm like, I am so depressed, and I would have to take a break. I hate
Okay,
it
so
much.
let me speak to that for a
That's
second.
how I feel.
So dealing with like depression and stuff, like I have found that for me, if I am depressed or feeling depressed, that makes me feel better. To like
That's how my
read
sister is, so I
depressing
totally get
things
that.
Or
That's a real
watch
thing.
depressing
Yeah.
things. Like I've had this conversation with my sister-in-law. There's a movie. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it's a movie
depressing.
that I really like.
It's too
And I
depressing.
told her that I think I like it because it makes me feel better. Like,
It's like cathartic.
yeah. Like,
No, this is
it's
a real
yeah.
thing. Yeah, I feel like people are either or, and I am on the opposite spectrum, but
I
my
am
sister is
also on
the
the
same as you,
opposite
But, like,
Joanna.
if
Yeah.
I'm
Where it's like when she's sad, she
Yes,
wants things
exactly.
that make her
like,
feel
I like,
sad.
When I feel
Yeah.
sad, I like rainy days. When I'm sad, I like sad songs. Same with books. If I hear a happy song or watch a happy show, it makes me feel worse. And so I think that's why I like Wuthering Heights because, yeah, it is kind of sad and depressing and gloomy.
What do you mean,
and-
kind of?
Okay, it's sad and
Extremely
gloomy, and
It's sad and depressing. Okay.
that's probably why I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that I like happy things when I'm feeling sad, but I definitely do not like sad things definitely make me feel worse, you know? And so it's just funny that people are really opposite. I feel like there maybe aren't a lot of people in the middle. There's either like if you're sad, you want sad things, or if you're sad, you do not want sad things.
Well, or if you're me, you're sad and you want murdery things.
Well, hey,
like
that's a good,
that's
that's a
I
good
watch
system too.
all my slashers or my horror, everything.
That's why you
like,
liked The Catcher in the Rye.
Sucker Punch. That was
Yep,
the movie.
exactly.
Sucker
Sucker
Punch.
Punch.
That's
Oh.
a movie.
Is that the one?
That
100%. I would not have guessed that
No,
at all.
it's when I saw that movie that I
Is that the one that's in
realized.
the asylum?
Yeah.
That movie, the end of that movie, oh my goodness, I could not
so-
handle it. It messed me up for days.
It was that movie that
Days.
made me realize that because of depression and when I'm depressed, I like depressing things.
Oh my word, that one is so
No, I know it
depressing.
is. I know it is. But that's
It's
when I realized. That's why I thought of that movie because that's
I
when
think
I
I
like
blocked it
realized
out.
within myself
Yeah,
that
yeah.
what makes me feel better is like depressing, sad things. Like when I'm depressed. When I'm not depressed, I like happy things. But
That movie was sneaky because the trailer did not look depressing.
no.
No,
And it's
that
not depressing until
yeah,
the
that's
end.
very interesting.
I feel like I maybe am thinking of the wrong movie. As you guys are talking about this, I'm like, oh yeah, I think I've heard of that. But then now you're talking,
If
and
you've
I'm
just
like,
seen the trailer,
maybe I
you
don't know what
wouldn't
you're talking
though.
about.
And it's a huge
No,
twist at the end.
it looks like an action adventure
fantasy-ish,
video
yeah.
movie. Like
It's like girls kicking butt and teens against various monsters. And
I think I
enemies.
did not see this. I think it's the one I
That's
was
okay.
thinking of. I have seen, but yeah, this one I don't think I've seen.
After this
and probably
conversation,
I will
you
never
should not
see
watch
it. Yeah,
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Don't watch it.
as we know, I do not like depressing things.
Those of you who like action adventure and also depressing things, you should go out and watch that.
There you go.
When you're feeling bad, this is the movie to watch.
Apparently,
I'm gonna stick
that's
with
funny.
like a slow romance or something when I'm feeling bad. I don't necessarily need like hyper exciting things, but I could watch like The Lake House or something
I love
and
that
be like,
movie.
life is okay.
Okay,
That one's kind of
There's
sad
joy,
too.
but it does have
it
a
is
happy
kind of
ending.
sad. It's
Yeah,
true.
true.
Spoiler alert. Just kidding. I watched Jurassic Park a lot.
If it's a romance,
When
it
I'm
has a
sad.
happy ending. That's the way romance
Well,
is.
it's true,
It's
but
not a
we've talked
spoiler.
before that movies sometimes like the genres are not as clear,
Oh,
and you
true.
don't always
with
know if you're
Uh-huh.
watching a
movies.
romance or
Mhm.
watching a drama.
That's true. That is a good
Mhm.
point.
We talked about
good
The Last
point.
Christmas
Yes,
on an
exactly.
episode,
No, I
okay?
think it was last week.
I think it was.
Like, sometimes you think you're getting something and then you get something else.
Yeah. yeah, Sucker Punch is definitely something that I did not
It sucker punches you.
It did not meet the expectation. It
Yeah.
did. I was like, it did not meet my expectations. This is not what I signed
I
up
like how
for.
we all are like not saying what it is though, because it's such a big spoiler. In case like I'm never
No,
gonna
you have to watch
but I'm
it.
curious
The
now.
spoiler is everyone dies. I don't know. I haven't seen
It's
it.
worse
so.
than that.
Yeah.
It's worse than
Yeah.
that, guys. You know it's
Yeah,
pretty bad,
so
but that's
anyway.
the spoiler.
I know. When death is the good one. Anyway, okay. So we're gonna
Stop getting sidetracked,
calm this
everyone. No more chaos.
We're gonna take this chaos into a little more organized chaos. We're gonna talk about the next episode, okay? So if you guys are new to our show, each week we pick a book that all centers around the same trope, and then we read it, and then the following week we discuss it. So this is the week that we picked that book. So we're gonna go around the room and talk about what we're reading for next week. So Kay, what are you reading?
So I am reading. Well, okay, I've been reading the whole Caraval trilogy, and I'm technically reading Finale, the last book this week. But I'm going to mostly be talking about Caraval next week, so be prepared for that.
Perfect. Hannah, what about you?
I would like blame you for stealing my favorite book of this trope, but I did talk about Legendary on a previous podcast.
You
already.
did.
I am reading To Best the Boys by Mary Weber, which I have to say I started a year ago, but it has some plague stuff, and that wasn't very fun. In the middle when it was like early COVID days, so I'm excited to get back into it because it has been judging me from my bookshelf. It's like I wasn't that bad book, Hannah. Why didn't you finish
Hannah,
me?
you usually read every book, right?
It's true.
Well,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole another topic. How many books we buy, we don't read. I actually don't buy very many books that I don't read, so it is judging me, and I will read it and I will talk about it, and it will be good. The end.
I love it. Joanna, what about you?
I'm reading The Princess Trials by Cordelia Castell.
Okay. And then I'll be reading The Fairy Games by Michelle Maddow. And I'm excited about this trope because I'm excited about these books, if that makes sense. Because, like, I read some of these, but the other ones have been, like, on my TBR, so I'm, like,
And we're
excited to
hitting a
talk
few
about
different
them.
genres
Anyway.
with this one, which is fun.
Yep.
We are.
Yeah,
I
we
like the same
are.
trope
Got
in different
some
genres.
Dystopian.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. If you want to read any of these books along with us this week, tag us in your post on Instagram. Use hashtag Reading Queens Pod, and also make sure to follow us at Reading Queens Pod because Instagram is where it's at. We'd love to talk books with you, so yeah, definitely reach out to us. And we're probably going to be doing something exciting coming autumn, like later in the year. So definitely be on lookout and follow us
We're all
on
looking
Instagram.
at Valia like
but-
we are. Hello.
I know.
We are.
Like,
We
that sounds
are.
exciting.
I have secrets. I love being in the control of this. Okay. No. Anyway. Well, thank you for listening to the Reading Queens. Before you go, please take a moment to leave us a review and follow us on your favorite podcast platform. We greatly appreciate it. And then stay tuned for next week. Happy reading. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.